inside?
I'm ready for a nap. I've actually been home for, it's been a long time now. This
No,
is
not
great.
really. It's been a
What
few days.
is it, Wednesday? It hasn't been a full week yet. I
No,
don't feel so bad now.
today's Thursday, Anne. You missed a day somewhere. But jet lag is awful.
It's really Thursday? It's Thursday. It is Thursday.
Yeah, because we were gonna do this on Wednesday, and then you said, "Can we bump it to Thursday? Would that be okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's
In
fine."
my head, it's still Wednesday in my head. But no. So yeah, so it has been 7 days since I got back. I really need to get my act together, apparently.
Jet lag is awful, so I've heard. It's not like I've been to Europe and experienced that, but it seems like it would be bad.
I always have a hard time. Like some people have definitely, they have a preference. Like when I fly east, I do really, really well. When I fly west, I have a hard time, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Me, it is coming home. When I come
Mhm.
home, no matter which direction I'm coming from, that's when I have the difficulty because I
Okay.
am self-employed. I do make my own schedule. And so it's very easy to just be like, I'll deal with that tomorrow. I'll deal
I'm
with
gonna
that
do.
tomorrow. I'll deal with it. And then it's like a week later and I'm still not sleeping right. And my to-do list has not gotten smaller at all. And
I know. I hear you.
so,
It's true. But good, good. You had a good time though, and you did a lot of things. You went to Apelia,
yes.
and you
So
went to
Apelia was great. And I also, so some people don't realize that Apelia is just the biggest of the fire festivals in Shetland. There's actually a whole series of them that happen on a smaller scale in different communities around the island, the islands. So it's not even the first. There's the Scalloway Fire Festival is before the main Apelia Festival in
good.
Lerwick. So anyway, so I got to go to two others. I
Right.
went to the one in Nesting with Terri Laura, and that was really fun because I met her in the morning and went to see when the Jarl squad went to the school, and I
Oh,
got to be in the school while the squad members came in, and they came in and they sang to the students. And I think there's only like, it's an elementary school, and I think there's only like 12 or 13 students.
yeah.
They run it as a
It's a
one-room
little
school
community. Yeah.
model. And they had written a song that they sang to the squad and
Oh, cute.
photos, and it was just really, it was a sweet part of the experience that I don't usually get to see, that you don't usually get to see because it's one of the really community kind
Yeah.
of looks at it. And then the other one was the North Mavan Apelia, because Ann Duel is a friend, and her brother was the Jarl that year. So this year, so she was in the Jarl squad, and she was like, "Make sure you come." And so
Mhm.
got to go and see for the picture time for that one was in the afternoon, and then I sort of hung around and went to their procession. And their procession, they actually put the Jarl's boat out onto the water and throw the torches on. Well, they throw the torches on it and then they push it out into the water. So you get the reflection of
Yeah.
the fire and everything. It's really, really cool.
That's neat.
And that's really such a small community. You don't get a lot of the competing lights from houses in town and stuff. So it's really dark. And then the bonfire part is really cool. So yeah, it was really a fun trip to get out to those other events as part
Neat.
of it. And then as I came back, I went to the Unravel Festival in Farnham in the south of England. It's about 40 minutes outside of London if you drive it.
Okay.
Um, and I'm gonna give like a full report of that in a podcast episode
Yeah.
later.
Okay.
But it
So yeah,
was
people can watch for that.
just a
Mhm.
great festival. I just really enjoyed it. So yeah, it'll probably be a couple weeks before that episode comes out and I'll give like a full rundown, but yeah, I just really enjoyed that. So just a nice little like 3-day
Yeah.
event there in the community. So yeah.
And you only bought a little bit of yarn.
I actually did only buy a little bit of yarn. So the marketplace was really sprawling because the maltings is now it's a community center. It started as a few like very old school factories, like from the late 1700s into the mid 1800s, sort of brick factory type
Yeah.
buildings. And then they were all combined and became a maltings where they would, spread the grain to develop it into malt for brewing.
Right.
So everything's sort of on different levels from one another because they're connected buildings. And so you go up and like off to the side, there's a big room, or you can go up a few more stairs and off there, there's a big room, or a few more stairs and off there, there's a, and then it's just all sort of, I got to the last day and I thought, well, I've seen everything, but maybe I should go through one more time in case I missed anything. I missed 3 rooms
Oh my gosh.
that I had no idea were existed,
Yeah.
that just were sort of like tucked, you had to sort of see that they were there, and then a whole world opened. It was very sort of, it was fun. It was like fun, like being on a little scavenger hunt,
Yeah.
trying to find
Sounds like a
everybody.
little maze.
Yeah. So
Fun.
it was fun. I did get yarn from 3 different makers. Each of them were like breed specific
Okay.
farm yarns, the kind
Yeah.
of yarns I love. So wool decanted was one. Got to see those ladies and meet them in person. That was really fun. And then one woman was doing a specific type of Dorset, and another, I want to say the Gray Sheep Company in Hampshire, they have developed their own line of sheep with its own genetics.
Okay.
They're calling it the Stein sheep.
Interesting.
And so they had some of that wool. It's a merino crossed with something else. I can't remember, but now it's considered its own breed
Yeah.
that they developed. So anyway, it was really neat to see uh generally thought of as local kind of event in another country. You know, there were people who had traveled from afar, like myself, but for the most part, it's sort of for that little
Yeah.
region.
Little
Yeah.
region. Sure.
Very well done, though.
So then you're home for a little while.
Home for a couple months, and then I'm going to go back to Shetland via Edinburgh
Mhm.
to go to the Woolly Good Gathering, and this is the first time they're doing it, so it's just Friday night and Saturday is all. But I'll be helping out my Shetland peeps. There's going to be a table in the marketplace with a group of vendors from Shetland who are sending their stuff down because it's
Okay.
lambing season in Shetland. So having
Sure.
people come down is a little hard.
Yeah.
So several yarn makers and then a few other people will be represented at the table too. So if you're going to Woolly Good, come find me in the marketplace and say hi and get your
And
finger into some.
when is that? What are the
So
dates?
that is the last weekend in April,
Okay.
the
Okay.
Friday and Saturday of that.
Okay.
And, tickets and workshops and stuff are already on sale and
Yeah.
available for people to plan that. So,
Sure.
yeah.
Nice. So you got to finish your to-do list at home before you can go back.
I don't know. The to-do list is kind of insane.
I know. I hear you. And then,
I have one of those pads, the to-do list pad.
yes.
And I sat down the other day because I sort of had I had a list of things that I left for myself that was like, when you get back, make sure you do these things. And then I had my list from as I was leaving Shetland that was like, hey, remember when you get home to do these things. And then that last week I was traveling in the south of England, I had all these other ideas that I was like, so I had to collate it all into one. And
Mhm.
that list that, that tall
Yeah.
is
Book thing.
full with
Yeah.
half crammed in on the other side too. I'm like, man, what happened to
Wow.
taking it easier? I have not been taking it easier.
No.
That is for
Oh,
sure.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I got a few things coming up myself.
Yes, you do.
I do. So I guess the first thing I'll talk about is many of you, if you follow my Instagram, you saw my Radvent throw that I'm knitting for a charity. I'm fundraising. Um, so I am a volunteer advocate with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and I'm knitting here's the one I have going right now.
Yep.
It's going to be a square, but you know, you knit it in the round. So this is the Radvent throw by Ambah O'Brien, and that's square 17. When I
You
did
are
the Instagram
flying.
reel, oh, they're just all numbered, so I can keep them together. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that is looking
now
gorgeous.
there are some colors. Do you want to give me? I needed a color opinion. Okay,
Okay.
this was an Advent kit.
Okay.
I'm just not sure about how. I'm not sure about the colors. The rest of the colors. So I'm gonna grab them here, so you can tell me if you think.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I'm not sure if I care for the brownish ones.
And the kind of olivey ones sort of throw it a different
But I'm
direction.
not sure because some of these are very, very dark also, like, you know.
Yeah, but those go more olive and it's sort of a tonal difference, huh? Like
Yeah,
the
I'm not sure, but I can arrange the squares however I want.
right.
So they don't
Do
have
you
to
have
be any kind of
yarn?
a gradient order. Yes. Then the main color that's going to attach all these together and be the border is
Uh-huh.
this. Is
Ooh.
this. So
I would leave out those olive shades.
I thought about that, but then other people were like, "No." At midnight, other people were like, "No, that's cool." So I don't know. But if I leave out the olive shades, then I have to go hunt for a different yarn to
Well, that's what I was going to ask is if you have enough of the other yarn.
enough of this.
No, of any yarn of any of them. Are you going to have? Do you have enough
I would have
without
to go hunt
olive?
through my stash to figure out what to substitute. And
Mhm.
I'm not sure I don't know. If I do that, it's going to be a different yarn and a different potentially a different texture.
If that,
Hmm.
because
People
really there's only like three of those. I
oh
probably
there's
should
four.
leave out, maybe four. Yeah. So is there enough, like if you were to do some squares with the big one, would you have enough to also do the border?
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. Because I'm
Interesting.
also using this to attach them all together.
Oh, right.
So I don't know.
You use your scraps, your leftovers to attach, and then use the big one to.
I don't think there's enough of the leftovers. And because you know how you put it together and you've got like strips. So
Yeah.
when you attach them, you're attaching the strips. You're not just attaching like A to B. You're attaching A, B, C, and D in one long thing. I don't know. Anyway,
Could
so
still do it the other way, but it would be a
yeah. So
lot of it.
viewers can leave a comment down below whether they think we should omit. Tell me what you think about keeping these or not keeping these. Because in a way, I feel like these are warmer colors and this is all kind of a cool situation. I don't know, but it could work. It could work depending on the arrangement of the blocks.
Yeah.
Okay, but the point is, I'm knitting this for a fundraiser that is occurring. It's the Out of the Darkness walk. So on college campuses across the country, they have a walk to raise awareness for suicide prevention and to make sure that particularly on colleges campuses, kids, people in general know. I just dropped a needle. People know that the hotline exists because it used to be like if you were having a crisis, it used to be you dial 1-800 blah blah whatever. Nobody could remember the number. And now it's a nationwide number. It's 988.
Oh, okay.
So it raises awareness. So the funds go to, public education, certainly. Also, advocating for legislation to fund these 988 national call centers. And that's what I was doing at our state capitol in Wyoming on Monday. Anyway, so what I'm doing is I'm raffling off this Afghan. And so if you want to donate to sponsor my walk on campus on April 13th, then each $10 donation or each increment of $10 gets you an entry.
Nice.
And I'll just do a random raffle on the 14th after the walk event is over. And the funds, if you do it through my AFSP walk page, half the funds stay in Wyoming and half the funds support the national organization. The reason that that's important to me is because Wyoming is consistently in the top 3 in the United States for suicides per capita.
Mm.
So it's a problem. And there's lots of reasons for that. I mean, it's a very, very rural state. You know, it's very, very conservative, and not to get into the politics of it, but there's a big stigma because we're like 30 years behind as far as the stigma of mental health wellness and seeking help, right? So people tend not to. And also because it's really rural and it's, 30 miles to town or whatever. There's lots of reasons. But anyway, so if you're interested in supporting my efforts there, I'll drop a link down below for my walk page.
Yeah,
so I have
wonderful.
a fundraising goal. So
everybody pause and look for that link right now and get that done while you're thinking about it, because that's an important cause. I had a friend die from suicide just a few months ago who was our age.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, I don't know, I tend to think about it as being something that affects younger people more, but maybe I'm wrong. As I get older, I sort of feel like I see it around transition times, change in lifetimes.
Statistically, it's not just young people. Like in my state, it's middle-aged to older-ish white men with firearms.
The male suicide is something that isn't talked about.
It's important to recognize that that national line is available. And it's really super easy to push one if you're a veteran and then you're connected because that's a different circumstance as well, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. And then you push 2 or 3 if you are LGBTQ plus. So there's different people to help you depending on your circumstance. And I think that's really important as well.
And I'll just say, like, I have a brother-in-law who has used the line as a veteran and who now volunteers on the other end.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
And I've had kids who've used it as LGBTQIA people who've, had really stressful moments.
And you don't even have to call. Do you know there's a text line, a crisis text?
Yeah, I saw that.
741-741.
And get support through text.
And I didn't know that until one of my fellow advocates in Wyoming, she lives in Cheyenne, she volunteers on the crisis text line. And so the other day she's like, oh yeah, we can chat him up till 3 a.m. because it's my night for the text line. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So I think like stigma is the big word with this, is just, so I don't get into details about loved ones' lives, but just I don't feel bad sharing about, I have had family members who have
and that's the thing is suicide affects everyone. And talking about it does not make people do it. Right. Talking about it brings it out of the darkness, right? Mm-hmm. And statistically, I mean, the scientific information is there. Talking about it does not cause people to do that. Mm-hmm. So that's important to know, because people need to realize that it's okay to call, it's okay to text. There are people out there to help you. Yeah. So anyway, if you're interested in winning my Afghan,
gorgeous hand knit Afghan,
donate to support my Out of the Darkness walk. So the drawing will be April 14th. All of the funds go to the AFSP, half in Wyoming, half nationally. Right. So yeah. And in fact, you're donating through the AFSP website. Like the money never touches my hands at all. You donate through the organization's website. So I'm just keeping track of the donations, and then I'm making a spreadsheet of all the people and how many entries they get. And then I'm going to do I'm going to do the wheel of names thing and
nice,
and I'll record the video of that and put it up on the channel. So
excellent.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. So I'm knitting, and I'll put up a picture when I'm done, but this is block 17. I'm getting there. Knit.
How many do you?
17 of 24, and then I'll put it together. So the throw and that's a good question. The throw, each square I showed you is roughly 9.5 to 10 inches.
Okay.
So once you add the in-between part and the border, it's probably going to be 45-ish by 60.
Okay.
It's a throw. I mean, it'd be fine for like on the
Okay.
couch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Watching.
not a giant blankie, it's not going to be a bedspread size, but
No, it's a throw. Yeah.
yeah,
Add a splash of color to the living room.
that's right. So that's what I'm furiously knitting on right now. And
Yeah.
if I don't knit, if I don't have to do anything else, which that's not realistic, right? I can knit a square a day if I hurry. And then I'm going to take all my tidbits. These are the leftovers from each color. And I think I'm going to either make socks or I might make a Musselburgh hat or I'm not sure what I'm going to do with all the tidbits.
It's so cute. You got to save them through Easter anyway, and then you can make you
Why would I do that? Just because
have your Easter basket of yarn balls,
that's
Easter
right.
eggs.
I don't even know when Easter is. Yeah.
It's the end of this month, I think. I think it's the end of March this year.
I don't know. I have kids coming home for spring break, so we're just going to do that. And do you?
Yeah.
Are your kids coming home?
I have one home. Well, they're both home now because one's home all the time. But I have one who just got home late last night, and will be home for a week. So,
Is it spring break now then?
well, they have class Monday through Wednesday. All of their classes are front
Okay.
loaded.
Okay.
So it's actually next week
Okay.
that is spring break for their university.
Right.
But they were able to come home early.
Right.
Front loaded classes. So
She just moved. I just saw her move. See,
yeah,
my
I've been watching her every now and then. She's been poking her head up.
well,
Did you spot the kitty before Jana pointed
that's
her
right.
out?
Did you spot the kitty? That is a bag of 5 skeins of Malabrigo Rios, and it's nice. She didn't do this. She just had a little bath and laid down.
Nice. Lovely. She's not
Yeah.
making biscuits up there. She's enjoying her rest time.
And the stove is on because it is super foggy, gray, and cold.
Oh,
So
wow.
I think we're gonna have
It's a
snow
great day
tonight.
here, but it was 60 something on Saturday. And then
Wow.
it got colder again, and now it's been in the 50s. So birds, you can see the geese flying back north, and I can see multiple birds in the trees outside my window. And
The red-winged blackbirds have come back. They're devastating my feeder right now. I'm like, move along. I mean, there's a flock of a couple hundred. They're just trashing the feeder.
yeah, I
Yeah.
have not seen the flock of birds that like to come through and just like land on one side of my yard and just eat everything all the way across that they can find and then be off again.
They just systematically pick through every
Yeah,
blade of
we usually
grass.
have about 3 flocks that will do that, and on the way south and then on the way back.
And
And I
did
don't know
you
what it
discover
is that's so appealing about our yard, but it's every year both times.
but did you figure out what kind of bird it is?
No, I need to see them again so I can
Take a picture and then do the
get a
Google
picture.
Lens thing. Like, what is this?
Yeah, what are you?
Image search.
Yeah, gotta figure it out.
Nice. Nice. Cool. So what are you knitting right now?
So I cast on another project.
Of
I
course.
have not finished anything since we last talked. I'm almost done with the Shetland Hogmanay cushion, and I will show that before I show this one that is my mindless knitting project. I forgot. So I have four active things on my needles right now. One I thought I left on the plane.
Oh, that's right. I saw that. And
It's
you
a
even called
lace.
Delta. You even made a report.
Yeah, it's a lace shawl that I was making for a friend. It's the Skelberry shawl from this last year's Shetland Wool Week Annual, designed by Elizabeth Williamson, and it's a whole lot of bird's eye lace with a border, like a lace edging on it. And I've been working on it, and it's my smallest project, so I took it on the plane. And as I was working on it on the plane, I realized I had made so many mistakes at the start. And it's one of those ones where you start with just a little bit and it just gets wider and wider as you go.
Yeah.
So it was all concentrated, like right there at the beginning, all these mistakes. And I was like, this is going to drive me crazy. And it's for a friend.
And I can't fix this.
I pulled it all out. And I was, by like this far in at that point. So it was,
Good for you, though.
but I was like, I'm just going to redo it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So I'd made a start, and I think I'd gotten about that much done. And I was sitting where there was no chair in front of me. It was the start of the coach section, and then the fancy seats started, and there was a
You just
wall
had the
there.
bulkhead there. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a wall there, so I couldn't put my stuff under the seat in front of me, but I was against the wall, so I had sort of crammed the knitting bag between the seat and the wall. And I got home, and I was looking for something like an hour after we got home, and I couldn't find it. And I was like, I left that in my knitting bag. Where's my knitting bag? And I couldn't find my knitting bag. And I was like, oh no, I left it. So I got on the website, and I was put in my information for the lost and found. And the next morning, I came out of my shower, and my husband had brought up a laundry basket and left it. And I was sort of going through to look for clothes. And I turned my head, and on my seat there was my knitting bag. So I just come straight in and dropped it there, and then forgot I brought it in and dropped it there. So anyway, so when I logged back into the website, the first question it asked is, did you find the article?
Why, yes,
like,
thank you for asking.
Okay, I'm not the only person who has done this.
I'm sure you are not. But yay.
So yay. So that's safe. So that's one. The other one is the glitter shawl from Hyber Knitting this last year that I totally forgot about. I completely forgot I was working on that project because I left it here while I was gone.
Right.
So it was 5 weeks not thinking about it. I got it home and was like, oh.
Yeah, it's called the Glittering Snowscape Shawl by Stephen West.
Yes.
I'll show you mine in just a moment.
And I'm knitting it with solid Noro colors.
Ooh.
And
you have it there? Yeah, because you began that shawl after we had stopped our vlogging for December.
Yeah, so you guys haven't seen it at all. So I think I showed the colors. So the colors are this.
Oh yeah, I saw that on social media.
And then this one is like modeled, and then this is solid. So this is like a modeled of these two.
Yeah, nice.
So I'm redoing it. So instead of 5 colors, it's going to be these 3.
Right.
And this is
where you are.
This is where I'm going. So all still the one color. I haven't gotten into any of the other colors.
Okay.
But I like how the Noro is working with the textural stitches.
Nice. You have a lot of stitch markers, which is uncharacteristic for you.
No, I've been doing it more and more because when there's a repeat, I've been marking out the repeats because at this point, I find I am able to hold more pattern in my head now.
Okay.
So I can knit this by feel at this point, as long as I have those markers.
Oh, cool.
Act as a trigger, like that's where I'm supposed to be. Okay, do it again. That's where I'm supposed to be. And if I don't hit it when I'm supposed to, then I know to look down and figure out what I did wrong.
Oh, something's wrong now.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's the second thing.
I'll show you mine real quick.
Yeah, do.
Oh, I was missing that. Number 12.
Surprise.
From the blocks, Okay, I am almost to the bottom border.
Oh.
And I'm showing you in the middle of the
round. I love that.
I'm in the middle of a round here. Oh, here we go. Right side. There we go.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm almost down to the border. I'm at that darkish gray, and then the border will be more of a darker charcoal. And the border's knitted, perpendicular.
Yeah.
So still working on that.
I love how that looks.
But I put that aside so I could knit the Afghan because donations, fundraiser, charity, Out of the Darkness Walk, that has a time, a date attached to it.
It needs to get done.
So, yes.
So this is my Shetland Hogmanay cushion.
Ooh. Oh my gosh. That's the warmer colors.
Well, these are the colors I pulled from stash because remember,
Yeah, you didn't
I
have
made
that.
a big boo-boo, where I had planned to have one of each box set back for me, and
Right.
then I accidentally sold them. So I, instead of having 2 boxes, I ended up with no boxes, which is fine because I have so much yarn from each of the makers that I was able to then go to my stash, and I'm still doing
That's lovely.
different makers yarn for each repeat of the pattern. So I'm trying to get it all flattened out here. So I'm on to the last maker right now. So this is Uredale here,
Yeah.
and then Jameson's of Shetland, and this is Laxdale yarn. This is Silly Sheep Company. So she dyed the color. This is the natural whatever, but then the other she dyed for us. And then the very top here is Easter Ew.
And
So,
did
and
you
I
mean to
don't,
color coordinate with your shirt today?
well, so this is the thing. So I went to my stash and I was like, how, because, I have different colors from different makers. And Laxdale and Easter Ew, I had the fewest colors from.
Okay.
The rest I had more. So I was trying to figure out how to make it work. And I wanted it to be funky, like Terri's original design. But I realized I wasn't really happy with how I was putting things together. So I decided to just do one color for the pattern stitches, yeah, for the thing, and then 3 colors for the background stitches, and I had red, orange, and blue for each of them.
Okay.
So that's what I ended up doing. So the pattern color changes, but it's red, orange, and blue all the way through,
Yeah.
different shades of it. So
That's brilliant.
Um, and then literally yesterday, so that was how I made my plan, right?
Right.
And then literally yesterday, I was walking up the stairs from the basement where the cushions on the couch down there are blue, up into our living room, like our nice living room where visitors sit, where the cushions on the couch are blue, red, and orange. So I was like, well, I just am recreating my home decor, but it's like, how many months later it took me to realize that's what I was doing. So
It's
that's my
beautiful.
third project on the needles.
It's lovely.
And then we went to see Dune Part 2.
Okay.
And I didn't have anything that I was comfortable knitting in the dark. So I decided to cast something else on.
Of course.
And everything I'm working with right now is wool and is going to take time. And I thought, well, whatever I cast on is also going to take time. So maybe instead of a woolly thing, maybe I should do a summery thing. And started looking for patterns on Ravelry for one of 2 options. So I have Pachinku Fibers is unfortunately closing down. They're a botanical dye company based in Peru that hired local dyers who, were taught by their mothers how to do it,
Yeah.
thousands of years of history going on there. And in part of their closing down sale, I got 2 each of these colors
Oh,
of the
that's
cotton,
lovely.
Pima cotton. So I thought maybe like a stripy tank top,
Yeah.
but I couldn't quite find something, and I was heading to the movie theater. I didn't want to invent something, So I kept looking, and I also had a bunch of this Linnea yarn that I
Uh-huh.
got on our anniversary trip last year when I went to the Field de la Manche in France, which is a yarn thing there, festival. And that area is known for linen production, and there's still huge fields of flax, but I think at this point that flax goes to like flaxseed oil and stuff like that. But I still wanted to get some linen, because
Great.
it's a souvenir. I want it to match the area. And this was the only linen in that yarn festival.
Huh.
Everything else was, merino superwash or like hand dyed. So anyway, so I picked like 5 or 6 of these up, and it's actually 95% linen, 5% cotton.
Okay.
And with this, I am knitting the split back tank. And let me see if I can, so it's just from the front, it just looks like a tank top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the back, sorry, I have to get the knit companion little bars out of the way. It gets connected up in the back.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you knit it as a great big long wide piece,
Yeah.
and then you overlap it, join
And
it up, and you do the top part.
and who's the pattern by?
So this is available on Ravelry. The pattern is by Allison Griffith, and it's one of the Knit Picks patterns. So you can also get it on the Knit Picks website if you don't do Ravelry. And it calls for like a cotton, 2 of their yarns. So one is Cupro, which I looked up, but now I don't remember what it was. Cupro and silk blend, and they have another one that was a linen cotton blend. So I was
Okay.
like, well, if it works for that, it'll work for the linen
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
that's what I'm working on. Those are my 4 things.
I have more than 4 things as usual, but my focus at the moment is
Oh,
my,
honey, I have my heap over here that's like 8 more projects,
but
but
that's just what your focus, that's your
these are
focus
the
for.
focus. Yes.
And what I'm doing while we're talking is the Girlfriend's Cardigan by, I'll have to put it in below. But this is interesting. This is interesting. You start out with well, now I'm in the middle of a row, but you start out with a really long I cord, and then
Okay.
you start out with the I cord here, and then you pick up either side. So you pick up, this is the back, basically. The I cord ends up being right here, and that goes in the back, and then you have this. And this is, so you have the front, the right front, the left front, and this isn't working, but you get the idea. And you knit that down, then you join in the round.
Nice.
Well, I mean, it's a cardigan, so we're back and forthing.
Right.
But it ends up
Yours
being
is like the opposite of mine. You're doing the
joined in
top
one.
first, and then you end up back
Yeah.
and forthing on the bottom, and I'm back
And
and
then
forthing
it's
on the
just garter
bottom.
stitch, but I'm loving it because it's all squishy and nice, and it has I cord edges, which is tidy. And this
Love
is just a fingering. Oh, here she comes.
Oh, hardcore.
Down. It's just a fingering with some alpaca, Seri alpaca held with it. So it's squishy and nice.
Nice.
It's good movie knitting.
Man, I have so many projects I want to knit, and I really need to just like bang out a bunch of these that are
I
piling up.
know. So much knitting, so little time. Let's
I
go.
did a thing a few years ago, well, probably 5 years ago now, where I just banged out as many patterns as I could, many projects as I could, and I think I got down to just 3.
Oh, you mean just finishing whips? Yeah.
Yeah, just finishing whips.
Yeah.
And I got
And
down to just 3, and I was like, I'm never gonna let it get out of control again.
famous last words. But we used to do a thing several years in a row. I did a frog it or finish
Couple
it
years. Yeah,
challenge.
frog it or finish it thing.
Yeah. Decide either frog it, which is totally a valid option, reuse the yarn for something else, or get her done, man. And you were doing Face the Music Monday too.
I was, and now that I'm back, I need to get back into it. It's easier when I'm home because I have all of those 9 million projects that I need to face.
And they're not across the pond, out of
I'm not
sight.
across the pond.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
that's
I
a
gotta
lot.
face
So tell me what you have coming up now. Let's shift to what's coming up.
So
You're going back to Shetland.
I'm going back to Shetland via the Woolly Good Conference. The Shetland oops, hold on. I gotta fix this. I split a stitch.
Oh.
Let me fix that. Okay. I'll be home for a while. I'll be home for a few months. Then I have Woolly Good, and then I'm going to Shetland. and then I'll be home quite a bit
For the summer.
for the summer. In July, I will go back to Shetland again because we have a tour for returnees that's more intermediate level, and it's a sheep to sweater tour. So in
Nice.
order to do that tour, you have to have gone on one of the other Mackinac Our Way Through Shetland tours, and
Yeah,
then that
I'm a little
unlocks.
salty about that.
Yeah, it unlocks access. You level up. Um,
I'm not worthy.
so I'm going to host that one, and then that will officially be my last tour. I was going to be like last year was going to be my last one, but then I really I developed this tour. I really wanted to go on this tour, and now I am. And
Yeah,
then this
cool.
will officially mark the end of my
So that's
tour
in
guiding.
July.
In August, I'm doing a local event. And I will just say, watch it. I will talk about it in great detail in the next episode of I Thought I Knew How, which should come out next week, this coming week. And I normally I would say, but as I'm talking about it, I can't remember the dates. And so I don't want to cause
No, that's all
confusion.
right. People can listen for your podcast. That's fine.
Just listen, and I'll talk about it at the end. It
Okay.
will be an affordable afternoon. Family will be welcome in Hartford.
All right.
So that's coming up.
Nice.
And then, I mean, we'll talk again.
Oh,
way before.
yes.
I'm
Yeah,
not giving you my whole year. People don't need to know my whole year.
But that's pretty much your summer.
That's pretty much my summer. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we are having our first hopefully annual, inaugural Purl summer camp. Purl
How fun
camp.
is that?
So you've heard of knitting camp. This is Purl camp because, right. So it's going to be really fun. It'll be our first one. There will be snacks, all the things that I never got to go. There will be snacks. I never got to go to summer camp as a child for lots of stupid reasons. That really hit you, didn't it?
I just love that your first thing for this Purl Together camp was that there will be snacks.
Snacks are important.
There will be snacks.
Yes.
I'm there. Count me in.
I never got to. Well, what more do you want? Snacks and knitting and a fun camp tote bag with stuff in it. Yeah, I never got to go to summer camp. And so I'm recreating the things that I wished I would have gotten to do as a child, right? But I'm in charge of my own experience now. So that's going to be even better. So we are going to dye mini skeins, then learn how to knit them into lace mandalas. Then we'll put them on a brass ring.
Yeah.
So instead of doing like the popsicle stick God's eye thing that I never did, but I saw other kids do it, we're going to knit lace mandalas instead. This is the grown-up camp version of the God's eye.
Nice.
And if you haven't knitted lace before, that's okay. I'm going to have some really various patterns. Some will be very basic and rudimentary, but still look awesome. You're going to dye your own yarn for your own mandala. We're going to figure out how to make s'mores in the hotel microwave.
We're going to figure out. Oh, man, this sounds so fun.
Yeah, it is going to be a ton of fun. So registration just opened. So if you want to do that, Purl Camp registration link is down below. Registration is limited because there's only so many people I can have in a hotel room. The hotel is going to be somewhat under renovation, so we're not going to have our normal meeting space. Yeah. So I'm renting a suite, and then we're going to make our little camp area.
Excellent.
There might be games like this. There might be songs.
How many people are you having? How many people are?
I can't do more than 20.
Okay.
But there will be
guys gotta act.
There'll be t-shirts and snacks.
Nice.
And knitting. And maybe some adult beverages as well.
Yeah. And microwave s'mores. I love that.
Yeah. Although I have recently been told that there are tabletop alcohol stoves that you can.
Yeah. You can do
Well,
Yeah.
maybe they'll be not microwave s'mores. Maybe
Yeah,
we'll
you can
do.
totally do those. I mean,
Maybe,
check with the hotel, but
they're the ones that told me about it.
oh, okay, yeah. So you should be fine then.
My event planner person, she's awesome. She's like, I got one of these for my birthday a while ago, and you might find this fun. And I'm like, oh, cool, little fondue.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we won't set off the
Okay.
fire alarm. Just saying.
I don't think they produce a lot of smoke, so I think you'd be
No,
okay.
I'm saying if people light the marshmallow on fire.
Oh, right, right. That would produce a lot of smoke.
Yeah. Anyhow, so if you want to come to Ogden for summer camp and Pearl camp and hang out, dye some yarn, have some, summer camp kind of an experience.
Yes,
Registration links in the description box.
that sounds excellent. And there's only 20 guys.
Yeah,
Get,
because and also um that week, that will be the week of June 19th, starting Wednesday evening, the 19th through Friday. And the reason
okay.
I'm not going through the weekend is because I'm also teaching a class uh, about a particular heel pattern that I will be releasing shortly. And I'm teaching that class both toe up and cuff down at Needlepoint Joint in Ogden, Utah on June 22nd. So watch for more information about
Add
that.
on. So you can add
See,
on to
that's the
that.
point. You can add on that class, or you can just, go on a hike or go fishing or do stuff in Utah and enjoy the mountain
Yeah.
summertime recreation.
Yeah. Excellent.
There you go.
Awesome sauce.
So that's what's going on.
That sounds like fun.
Then I have backpacking trips planned.
Excellent.
So I'm doing summer camp. And then that does not, several people have asked me already though, is that in place of the annual fall retreat? No, it is not. We are still doing the annual fall retreat. This is in addition to.
In
Pearl
addition to,
camp is extra.
yes, that's divine. That's wonderful.
Yeah,
Expanding.
we'll see. So we'll see how it goes. It's our first one. So we'll see how, yeah. You could be in on the first one and then you could just collect your camp t-shirts, every year.
Yep.
Yep. Fun. Okay, so that's pretty much it for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
so
the air update.
air
Here we are an
update.
hour and a half later. If
I
people are
can't
still
tell.
watching.
So yeah, like I literally had it cut. I'm gonna play with my lighting here and make it more of a blue light, which I don't like on my skin, but I think works better for seeing the gray hair. Hold on a second.
I can tell you have a little bit more right here since last we talked, right here.
Okay, so there, that should make it. Can you see it better?
Yeah, there's some. It's still pretty
So it's
subtle.
it's about to here.
Yeah,
Coming
it's
in.
pretty subtle.
So it's coming though. It's getting there. I went in literally Jana messaged me when we were supposed to be starting and I was like, I just got back from having my haircut. So I went in and I told her, I was like, all right, I'm done hiding it. So we're not trying to camouflage anymore. Let's just cut the hair. So this part all back here is now all the natural color. It's all short enough. It's
Nice.
just this longer bit up here is going to take a bit longer to.
It's very
It's getting
subtle.
there. And I'm to the point where the colored part is really what annoys me. I wish it was just done and it was just all natural at this point.
But it's not like you don't have a big line. I mean, it's a pretty blended pretty
No,
well.
because it was always semi-permanent color
Yeah,
and she did lift it. And so the last application of the semi-permanent color sort of half came out.
right.
And so there's not a harsh line now as a result. And then the other stuff really didn't come out very well because it just kept it been dyed so many times, even though it was semi-permanent, it's pretty
Sure.
much permanent.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's getting there.
Okay.
So yeah, there's Anne's vanity check-in.
All right. Well, we'll see what it looks like next month.
Yes.
Okay.
Toss of
I'm just still doing my thing here.
Yeah, you don't have any color in it now, huh? No purple?
No,
Did it all wash out or did it get cut out?
no. I haven't had purple since I shaved it last year.
I thought you did purple while we were, didn't you do purple?
Uh-uh. No,
I'm making stuff up.
You are.
I'm just making stuff up.
Jet lag dreams.
Jet lag dreams.
All right,
Okay, my dear.
we're gonna go eat some lunch, and
Same.
it's like mid-afternoon for
Almost
you, but
2 o'clock here. I'm starving.
okay. Well, see you next time. Thanks for
Okay, I'll
joining
see you
me
next
again.
time. Bye, everybody.